My name is Dr. Shelly Cameron, and I'm a leadership coach who research the topic of leadership and success. And I interview individuals like Maxine Barnett on success and personal growth. So today, again, my guest is Maxine Barnett, and she is the founder and president of Soft Skill Services. And we're going to be chatting a little bit more, following up on our recent discussion on networking. I wanted to share with you, Maxine, as we dive into this topic, that I went to an industry meeting, and in going to these industry meetings, you want to understand what's the purpose of going to the industry meetings as far as networking is concerned. Are there things that you need to do and to be prepared as you enter those meetings? Is it a missed opportunity when you are not prepared? Those are some of the questions I want to ask. But before I jump into that, I wanted to ask you background questions to create that background and that little solace as we go ahead and speak. So first question is, what is networking?
What is networking? I like to start off by saying, and introduce myself. I was introduced already, but I am Maxine Barnett. I am the founder and CEO of Soft Skill Services and an executive coach. So I work, like Dr. Shelly, I work with leaders, and I work with leaders at all levels. I work with leaders from the C-suite to the team leader to the business owner, all leaders.
Thank you,
what is networking? I like to start off by saying networking is a soft skill because it's a people skill, and it's something that can be learned if we don't naturally have that skill. Yes, I like to start there. And networking really is about making connections. So we can make connections anywhere. We can make connections in our day-to-day life as we move about in an elevator, up the stairs, on the train. We can make connections anywhere. But when we turn up at these specific events, these industry events, or these cocktail sessions, receptions, whatever, we have an opportunity to be very intentional about the connections that we make. And that's
like that word.
Yes.
Intentional.
And that's how we can start networking. We start connecting, and then we can move on to networking.
Perfect, thank you. And the reason I'm speaking with Maxine about networking is because she's a guru. She has been there, done that, and she's been around working with consulates and all of that worldwide. And Maxine does know about networking. That's the reason we're chatting today about it as a follow-up. So is it important to network if you're not a business owner?
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I say I work with people at all levels, within organizations and outside of organizations. So as someone who is working in an organization, a professional or non-professional, you can network also, because the networks that you form today could be helpful tomorrow.
Yes. So can you give an example of a person who is, you said, a professional and not a professional, who is a business owner? Is there a distinction between the different types of networking as far as these professionals are concerned?
The approach could be similar, but it depends. So let me start with a non-professional, someone who is at a clerical level, who has aspirations to move up and so on. That person can also start, and that person may feel networking is only for those who are, higher up the ladder. But no, that person can start networking by simply volunteering, by simply joining organizations that can help, that can help them develop personally and professionally. And when you do that kind of thing as a volunteer, or you join an organization, you join to give more than to get. And in so doing, you can start networking, in a very informal way, because you start making connections. And then you can move on now to say, okay, how do I continue to stay in touch with this person? How do I follow up, etc.?
I like that. So you're saying the distinction there is you join to give.
Give and not to get.
Not to get.
But as you give, you'll be surprised how much it's returned.
Yes, I really like that. So as networking for the business owner, the professional.
Sure.
Is that the same thing?
Yeah, the business owner may be a little more intentional because the business owner may want to meet prospective clients, prospective allies, prospective stakeholders, that the business owner may want to meet different types of persons. So they are even more intentional. They may turn up at something and there may be someone specifically there that they want to meet. And they put themselves in a position, and we're talking now about the in-person networking. They put themselves in a position, either ask someone to introduce, some people do that, or they initiate and they introduce themselves and so on. And what is interesting in the in-person networking today, I find it fascinating. Immediately, I was in a conference in San Francisco last week. Last week. And I saw how immediately, as we get each other's names, go straight into LinkedIn, and we are connected right there, right? And the connection is made
immediately,
instantly, fascinating, instantly. And then you can have a conversation, because in a conference, you get to talk. You can decide if you're speaking to this person extensively. But what is important with something like that is the follow-up. The follow-up. Either one can follow up, but if it's important to you, you make it your business, and that follow-up should be done within 2 days or so. 3 maximum.
2 days.
Yes. Because in a setting like that, they're meeting a lot of persons. So you want to make sure that you are still on the radar. So
I'm hearing the point that you mentioned about being intentional, and I like that word. And it means that you are to be prepared. What are 3 ways? 3 ways. I say 3. You may have more, but I say 3. Sure. What are 3 ways that an individual can be prepared?
And be prepared means you have a strategy.
Exactly.
You have a strategy. You have a plan. Exactly. So you're not going there just only to knock glasses. You're going there to meet someone. Yes, you're not going to knock glasses. You're going to meet someone that you know that may be present, or you're there and you said, okay, I am going to walk out of here having met 2 or 3 persons I've never met before. So you walk away with that information with a plan to follow up afterwards. But you go with that intention, one, to share about you and your business or your company, if you're working with a company, and you walk away now having met that. Those are 3 more persons that you can add to your network.
Right, I like that. So is there another strategy that they could employ?
So that one is the plan. One is to, and I may be addressing more of the introvert in this instance.
That's fine.
Because
there's a lot of us who are introverted.
And I am an introvert too, and people don't believe me when I say that, but I am. So you may walk in, and the event has started already. You may walk in and the event has started already. For those who are introverts, you may want to go a little before the event gets too crowded, because once it gets too crowded, when you get in, you're not sure what to do. But you walk in now to the situation, and people are in there and they're milling. And I always advise, go straight to the bar or go straight to someone that you recognize. But what the thing about going to the bar is you get a chance to wait. You get a chance while they're getting it for you, you get a chance to look around and see and make a decision where you're going to enter. And recently I had to give myself my own medicine, because I had to do that in San Francisco, because I walked in and things were in progress, and there's people from all over the world, because I met people from Turkey, I met people from Germany, I met people from all over. And you see, and you have to decide where once you get that glass enough, who you're going to talk to next.
So you have to get rid of those nerves.
Absolutely, and even preparing yourself mentally to do that. That is part of the preparation.
So that's also the preparation as well. So not only looking at the event and where you're going, but preparation as well as yourself. What are you going to say?
Your elevator speech.
Exactly.
Your elevator speech. Some say
have that ready and let it be smooth.
It
just comes across smooth, so you're not trying. You're not trying to remember what who are you? What do you do?
You're able to talk about what you do in one sentence. No one is standing up to listen to a paragraph. No
Exactly. So
understanding.
preparation is critical both in many different ways, right? And
Absolutely.
I like the one about going to the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to go and start drinking
No, you're
and
standing, you're waiting to be served, but you're not looking towards
right,
the bartender. You're looking all around. You're looking all
right,
around.
right, right,
And
right.
you make a decision as to who. There may be no one that you know, but you make a decision as to who you will approach and introduce yourself. And it starts just with that first connection. Yes.
Can you give me an example?
Um,
How you would introduce yourself?
So what gives like both of us an advantage? We don't only say our name and our
Yes,
company, but we also say from where we're from, because our,
yes,
you know,
yes.
our accent is a Caribbean accent. So we get a chance to even speak about that. And if our business is bi-coastal or international, we get a
Yes.
chance to speak about that, and what we do. Yes, yeah. So things like
If
that.
the accent, as you mentioned, if there is there something else that they can pull on, if that's not
If it's not an accent, and I was in such an international environment in that setting, it's
right,
really it's
right.
really being able to say I am
right.
Maxine
I'm
Barnett.
Maxine Barnett.
Yes, I am the founder of, and sometimes you don't have to say that because it's present on whatever
Yes.
right. But I am an executive coach, and I am so delighted to meet you. You are, because it's
Ah,
keep it very simple. You keep it very simple
yes,
just to make it
yes.
connect, and then yes. Mhm,
As
mhm.
simple as that.
As simple
And
as
if the
that.
person is not engaging you, what do you do?
Right. So that and that's what makes you scanning the room, making, because you
Uh,
have to make that judgment call. If there are people who look as if they're locked in conversation, you don't go there. Yes, they locked there. Two
yeah,
or three persons, they're locked in
smart,
conversation.
smart.
Yeah, you go and stand up there and trying to get you may never get in.
Yes,
There's always someone who is not as engaged. Always. There's always someone standing alone trying to do the same thing that you're doing.
yes,
Trying to
yes,
do the
yes,
very, very same thing. So
yes.
you don't go where they look so engaged that they can't stop to even pay attention. You set yourself up.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm an author, as you know, of several books, and so I go to a lot of author events. And
Yeah.
at the end of it, they usually selling the books, and the lines are sometimes very long,
Yeah.
and they're engaged in trying to
Mhm.
get the attention of the author to take a photo with the
Mhm.
author or stuff like that. So some of the things that you mentioned, I remember that when you were standing there, you're trying to, oh my God, will they stop talking so I can
Yes.
get in?
Yes. And
But
I
there are others that you can engage with in the
sure.
meantime
Sure.
while you
There are
wait.
others
So
you
that's
can
also an
engage while you're
opportunity.
waiting in the line. I'm so
That's
sorry to talk over you.
right,
I'm
right,
sorry. While you're waiting in the line. Yes.
right.
Yes.
So,
I experienced that recently because the authors that presented, and I was able to get the book signed, but there was
yes.
a long line.
Long line.
Yes.
So that's
Mhm.
so interesting. That is there a last point that you'd like to mention on number
Um,
3? I mean,
right.
we've spoken about more,
Right. The first one is make a connection.
right?
Be very intentional about making the connections. The second is
Uh-huh,
a plan. Is it two persons you want to meet, or is it someone very specific? It might be one person that you know will be there,
uh-huh.
very specific. And the other is for the wider thing, that whole question of being helpful, being helpful.
Mhm.
So you make a connection, and really the connection is about how you all can help each other,
Right,
not how they can only help you.
right,
No, it's
right.
how you can help you. This is what I do, and you find out what they do, and you see how we may be able to help each other in future. It may not
Right,
even be in the moment, but
right.
you make the connection and be prepared to help each other. Yeah,
In the future.
yeah.
And then lastly, as you had mentioned at the outset, is to go ahead and
Mhm.
reach out to them within 2 days.
Reach out to them within 2 days. I need to back up a bit. So once you've made the connection and you start conversation, sometimes it's engaging. Sometimes
Yes,
it's engaging. When you're engaging with that person, or that person want be present, full
yes,
attention.
of
Make that
course.
person feel they are the only person in the room, although the room is crowded. Yes, yes, yes.
Don't start looking all
And
over
not
the
look as
place
if you
and
want to jump to the next person as if it's musical chairs, you know?
hurry up and speak. I'd like to
Yes.
move on.
Yes, be present, be present. I want to add another one now that you said
That's fine.
coming to an end. Names are important.
Yes,
Names are important.
Yes.
Address the person by name.
Yes.
You didn't get the name clearly, repeat it, or repeat it and say, I hope I got your name clear. So it gives the person a chance to repeat. So you get the name clear. The names are important. That is what will help you to remember the person too. Right.
Yes. That one is, I think, critical. There's one that I thought of and I had heard some time ago is when you get the business card from the person, from others, you tend to maybe sometimes write something on the back of the business card so you can remember
something
the
about
person.
the person.
Or something about the person, because it's amazing how many times you go home with several business cards and you can't remember who is who.
Cut them out and you're trying to remember, is that Jane, John? Yes. Yes. That's definitely a good one. Put a little thing.
Yes.
Dr. Shelly, string of pearl, then you remember. Then you remember, yes.
So Maxine, as we close, is there any last point you want to mention?
Just as I began, networking really is a soft skill. It's a people skill. And we need networking for all kinds of reasons. We need networking for business purposes, but we also need networking for personal, So even something like mentoring can fall under networking in a sense, because you're developing a connection and a relationship, and it usually becomes a trusted relationship.
Yes.
So networking is useful personally and professionally.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. So thank you, Maxine, for sharing your valuable tips on networking, and I'm sure our audience will be able to align with it, and it will become something that they can, strategy that they can use. I mean, it doesn't matter what level they are, executive or just whoever, they can find some points that you've discussed, very useful, and applying it to themselves. Again, I speak on anything personal growth and success, and you can find me at shellycameron.com. And my books are also there as well. And I would ask Maxine to just share where they can find you.
Sure. And as I share where you can find me, I am on LinkedIn. Definitely you can find me on LinkedIn.
Yes, of course.
And my website is www.softskillsservices.com. And my last words to you, network with a purpose.
Network with a purpose. I like that. That's a perfect way to cut this down. So if you want to hear more videos like these, please do follow this channel and like that subscription button. Okay, thank you, Maxine. It has been a pleasure.
Always a joy.